Hey there guys, Nordic Warrior here. Welcome back to my video game review series. So, today we're going to be looking at LEGO Harry Potter Years 1 to 4. Now, I have reviewed several of the Traveller's Tales LEGO games in the past. Most notably, I reviewed games such as LEGO Star Wars, LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean, and LEGO Marvel, to name a few. And I pointed out in those reviews that the LEGO games, in my opinion, are always consistently good. In fact, I was go as far as to say that I've never actually played a bad one. These games, despite all having a very similar formula, they always somehow manage to remain fresh and new with each installment. For example, LEGO Pirates feels very different in terms of its overall design and overall tone. I think the reason for this is that the developers of Traveller's Tales know how to add just the right amount of fan service and how to make it clear that they understand each individual license and lore of each of them. One example of this is how they add certain references and certain content from the books that was not actually featured in the movie. For example, in this game, if you play as Rita Skeeter, you can turn into a beetle. Now, this was never even alluded to once in the movies, yet it was explained in the book, proving and showing that the developers of this game were willing to add fan service that was not even in the movies. As far as the game's overall formula, it follows a very similar formula to the other LEGO games in the sense that you play through the levels on story mode, and once you've completed a level, you are then given the option to replay that level on free play. This means you can take any of the characters that you've unlocked in the game and take them through the level. Certain items and collectibles will be locked off to you on a first playthrough, so you'll have to unlock particular characters who have certain abilities that will allow them to enter a certain area or find and obtain a certain collectible. For example, certain areas can only be accessed by a character who has a key, so you will need someone like Griphook to enter and obtain the collectible. Some areas require characters with extra strength like Hagrid or Professor Lupin in his werewolf form to break open a certain lock. Some collectibles are buried underground, so you'll need a character such as Fang who can dig it out. Some areas require a character who knows dark magic to open them. So many examples of this, which really adds to the replay value of the games. Pretty much all the LEGO games have this same replay value, and it's one of the things that I really like and appreciate about them. The graphics and presentation of the game, as well as how awesome it is to see Hogwarts, Diagon Alley, Nocturne Alley, and several other locations from the Harry Potter movies recreated in LEGO format, really makes for an authentic and enjoyable experience. Character models look great, the backgrounds and textures look very good. The game has several pretty epic boss battles with several badass and memorable villains from the series. For example, you take on the likes of Malfoy, the Whomping Willow, the Basilisk, Voldemort, Quirrell, and so many other villains from the series. There's even a brief and short cameo appearance from Harry's true arch nemesis,
Arthur Weasley's automatic washing machine.
As far as unlockable characters, there are so many to choose from. Legendary characters from the books and movies. Of course, you'll have to play as the main trio, Harry, Ron and Hermione. You have some fan favourites such as Albus Dumbledore, Severus Snape, Sirius Black, Minerva McGonagall, and of course, everybody's personal favourite, Ernie Macmillan. There are also many villains you can unlock and play as too, such as Voldemort, Quirrell, McNair, so many others. The level design is excellent and the replay value is top notch. The main hub of the game mostly consists of Diagon Alley and the Leaky Cauldron, that's in London. The level design here is good too, and it's pretty much the hub area. Every LEGO game has one. In this area you'll be able to buy new characters as well as red bricks. The red bricks, like in most of the LEGO games, basically give you special abilities, and they help you make the game a bit easier for yourself. They give you things such as indicators to help you find certain collectibles or perks that help you obtain more money from the stud pickups. This of course gives you more of an incentive to replay the game and find more of the collectibles quicker than you normally would. You can also use this area to buy and obtain certain new spells. What's very cool about this too is the fact that some of these new spells are actually taken directly from the older EA Harry Potter games. Spells such as Galasius or Flipendo, to name a few. You know, once again showing that the developers really did have a lot of passion for this project and knew how to add a lot of fan service. One of the things that I find most amusing about this game is how it kind of pokes fun at Harry Potter lore in a good way. Like, for example, how it's stated by Hagrid that Hogwarts is the safest place, despite the fact that there are many dangers and hazards. In this game you'll be able to find various students in peril all over the place, acting as sort of an extra set of collectibles to be found. Most disturbingly, some of the students actually appear to be victims. For example, Hagrid has a student locked up in his picnic basket. I mean, the negligent psycho that he is. I mean, wow, that is disturbing. It was bad enough that he leaves Harry and Malfoy in the woods themselves, totally unguarded and unprotected. But now he may be a kidnapper. But I digress. Nonetheless, the game is really absolutely fantastic, and it's another certified classic from Traveller's Tales and their LEGO series. There are plenty of bonus missions and unlockable content that rewards you for playing the game and finding new collectibles. There are also some things that I find really funny and that I noticed that I think may have been left in by mistake from the developers. For example, when you're buying new characters, you can buy Crabbe and Goyle, who are basically Malfoy's goons, yet for some reason Crabbe costs 750,000, whereas Goyle only costs 75,000. That kind of makes me think that there was a mistake from the developers that was left in. So yeah, that's something that I noticed that I thought was quite funny. The game just has so much to do and so much to have fun with. If you want to take Ernie Macmillan and go and kick Voldemort's butt, you can. You can do whatever you want, and that's what makes the game so accessible and so fun. They even have a builder mode where you can kind of design your own levels. You have a few tutorials and some maps to get to know the game's inner workings and how it was made. And it was a really nice feature that they really didn't have to add, and I had a lot of fun with it, and it's something, like I said, they really didn't have to add it, but they did, showing that they really had a lot of passion for the project and wanted to add as much content and as much fan service as possible. Overall, I think this game is excellent, and it's really on par with some of the best of the LEGO games out there. A solid 8 out of 10. Although, I would not argue if you were to give it a 9. It's really up to your personal opinion. I mean, to compare it to some of the other games in the LEGO series, well, I would say that the fact that this is one of them games that came out back when the LEGO games had no voice dialogue, it was kind of a narrative that was told physically through like grunts and facial expressions and movements and implications and stuff like that. A lot of the older LEGO games were like that before they decided to add voice dialogue. I still maintain that I probably think that the best LEGO game I played was LEGO Marvel Superheroes. I'd say that game, which came out a couple of years after this, a couple of years later, I think that one was a little bit better. That one was a masterpiece. Again, I reviewed that if you want to check it out in the description section. I still maintain that that's probably the best LEGO game I played, but I would probably put this game on par with, say, LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, in terms of its quality, but again, it's really up to your personal taste. I mean, if you're a big fan of the Harry Potter series, you'll probably enjoy this one more, just because of the license that it's portraying. So, yeah, it's really up to your personal taste and what you prefer personally, and what you're more of a fan of. So yeah, this game is a fantastic experience, and I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. And yeah, I really would recommend it. So stay tuned for more reviews. My next review, I'm going to review the sequel, LEGO Harry Potter Years 5 to 7, and I'm really looking forward to replaying and reviewing that one, so stay tuned for that. For anybody who's interested, I'll leave a link to my other game reviews as well as my LEGO game review playlist. I have a separate playlist for that on my channel. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and yeah, God bless.